guys, Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and this is another episode of Riff Theory. So this is not a tutorial on Lithium per se. It's a music lesson where I take a really famous song and use it as the backdrop to kind of learn more about music. So that's what we're going on here. So I have a link down for the, Lithium tutorial if you just want to learn the song. Now also real quick, what's really cool about this video is it's sponsored by Boss. So shout out to Boss. They made a killer sounding patch for this song, and you can check that out in the link below. And that's for the Boss Katana. So thank you to Boss for sponsoring this video, making that killer patch. Let's learn some music. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna go clean right now. So the guitar's tuned down a whole step, and that's just because that's how Nirvana played the song, Mr. Nirvana himself. So it's tuned down a whole step, but I'm still gonna call this E, or this is an E major, but just know it's actually down a whole step from there. So what I like about this song and a lot of Nirvana songs is it doesn't stay to like the diatonic chords. For instance, like Blink-182 and Green Day, they did a lot of power chords, but they kind of stuck within the key without any of these like theoretical little extra tidbits that a band like the Beatles would do a lot. The one in this song is a term I don't know, it didn't stick with me in music school, but modal interchange. I'll show you what I mean. So first, let's just look at the chords of the key of E major. Obviously tuned down, but E major. Let's just look at the E major scale on the E string. And by the way, the major scale between the 3 and the 4 is a half step, and the 7 back to the 1 is a half step. The rest are whole steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Each of those notes is the root to a chord. The 1 chord is an E, 2 is an F sharp, 3, G sharp, 4, remember 1, 4, 5, E, the 4 is A, the 5 is B, the 6 is C sharp, and then the 7 is D sharp, and then the 1 is E. So those are the single notes. Now, when you harmonize those, and I'll just stay along the E string, you get full major and minor chords, except for that 7th chord. If you harmonize it all the way out, it's actually got what you would be called a minor 7 flat 5. Also, sometimes you call it half diminished. It means the same thing. And in mainstream pop music, we don't use that in the set of chords typically. So really then you're dealing with 6 chords. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 chords of a major key. Now, if you go to jam in Nashville, for instance, they do the number system where they don't even put the letters. They just say the 1 to the 6 to the 4 to the 5 in the key of. And then you kind of have to do the math really quick. Okay, so now let me show you the major and minor chords of the key of E major. Now the 1, 4, and 5 are the major chords. So the 1, 4, and 5 of E are E, A, and B. So the E, A, and B are the 3 major chords of the key of E major. And so far, that didn't sound like Nirvana at all, but all 3 of those chords are in Lithium. Now, the 2 chord is minor, so F sharp minor. The 3 chord is minor, and so that's G sharp minor. And then the 6 chord is minor, also known as the relative minor, and that's C sharp minor. And that's just all along the E string. So now, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, C sharp minor, and then the chord we don't use in mainstream music. So this is the 6th chord, and then back to the 1 chord. Now, in the Nirvana song, so they're all power chords. So let's just look at what the power chords are. E, G sharp, C sharp, which is also that 6th chord right here, but you can play right here. It's the exact same notes. So they're just 5 chords. They're not major or minor, but it's the 1 chord is E. Then it goes to G sharp, which comes from the 3 chord, which would be G sharp minor. Then C sharp, which comes from C sharp minor, which is the 6th chord. So 1, 3, 6, and then the A chord is the 4 chord, which would be harmonized as A major. Okay, but here it goes outside of that key. C, C5, D5's out of the key as well. But then B is the 5 chord again. So we have C and D are not in the key of E major. Remember, we have there's no C or D in there. So that's where we get this term called modal interchange. And a C major chord, if you're in E major and you go to a C, which does happen a lot, or it happens all the time. It's just that's called modal interchange. And if you're in the key of E major and you play a C major, but normally in the key of E major, it's a C sharp minor, but instead we're switching it with C major, and even that sounds cool. Very Radiohead. A lot of British bands use these theoretical chord constructions, but especially the Beatles really were doing this all the time. In fact, I'll show you when I make this more of a Beatles sounding song, but it's the same song. Okay, so in a major key, you would have what's called the flat 7, which is really easy to find. It's a major chord a whole step down from the root. So if we're in the key of E major, the flat 7 chord is a D major. The 4 chord's A, the 5 chord's B, right? So that's one that goes outside, but you hear it all the time. So normally in the key of E, we don't have D major, but if you modal interchange, you can play the flats. It would be E's flat 7, which is a D. So the other one that's used a lot by the Beatles and Nirvana is the flat 6, which that's going to be a major chord. And so normally the 6 is a C sharp minor, so the flat 6 is a major chord down a half step. So C major. So if you're in the key of E major, the flat 7 chord is a D chord. If you're in the key of E major, the flat 6 chord is a C major. So flat 6, flat 7, 1, or I could do it here, 1, flat 7, flat 6, flat 7 chord, 1 chord. So if I go through that and I play the full harmonized chords, E major is the 1 chord, G sharp minor is the 3 chord minor, then it does the regular old 6 minor, then it does the 4 chord, and that's all in the key of E major. But then we do a flat 6, and then we do a flat 7 chord, and then the regular 5, but then the flat 7 again. So anytime, if I don't do those modal interchange chords, If I don't do the flat, the D or the C major chord in there, now it just sounds very in. And that's what you get with bands, like I said, and it's great. A lot of people prefer that sound. You don't get those little twists in the melody. So if I didn't do that flat 6 or flat 7, that's actually a cool, I mean, I like that. It doesn't sound like Nirvana anymore. I'm not doing any of those modal interchanges. So now back to the Lithium progression, but with the full chords. So, could even go more. You know, I was trying to make it more like a Beatles bass line. All right, you guys, hope you enjoyed, you know, just digging into something a little bit. Also, once again, huge shout out and thank you to Boss for sponsoring this video and making that killer sounding patch that's totally free in the link down there, free download for the Boss Katana. Thanks for watching, supporting Marty Music, you guys. Hope to see you again real soon. Take care.